Moving to the cloud, you'd think it's just a simple tech upgrade, right? But in reality, it's one of the biggest transformations a business can go through. It's a journey, and like any big journey, it's packed with incredible opportunities and some really nasty hidden traps. Okay, let's dive into this.
Look, at this point, the cloud isn't just a nice-to-have. It's the engine that makes modern business run. We're way past just using it for storage. This is about fueling innovation, scaling up at a moment's notice, and, well, basically doing things that were pure science fiction just a decade ago.
And for businesses in India, this isn't just a small step up. The promise of the cloud is huge. We're talking about a massive leap forward, a chance to really compete and even lead on the world stage.
But, and this is the big but, what if that journey to the cloud is way more complicated than it looks on the brochure? What if it's littered with hidden traps that can slow you down, blow up your budget, and maybe even put your entire business at risk? Yeah, that's what we're going to unpack.
So let's start by setting the scene. Right now we are smack in the middle of India's great cloud rush. And let's be clear, this isn't just some passing fad. We're talking about a deep, fundamental shift in the economy. So the big question is, why? What's driving this massive move?
I mean, the sheer scale of this whole thing is just staggering. Take a look at the growth of what are called Global Capability Centers, or GCCs. They're not just growing, they're exploding with double-digit growth. And these aren't your old-school call centers. No. These are becoming global hubs for innovation. And guess what? They're all built on the cloud.
And when we talk about stakes, we are talking about mind-boggling amounts of money. Get this, by 2028, these GCCs are projected to pull in $90 billion in revenue. So yeah, this isn't just a tech thing, it's a massive economic engine for the entire country.
Okay, so the why is pretty clear, right? The incentive is massive. But the moment you take that first step on the journey, the pitfalls start showing up. So let's talk about how to dodge the most common mistakes right at the very beginning.
You know, so many cloud migrations just stumble right out of the gate, and it's usually because of one of these three things. First up, bad planning, just rushing in without a real roadmap, a total recipe for disaster. Second, picking the wrong tool for the job. You've got to know if you need basic infrastructure, a platform to build on, or ready-made software. It makes a huge difference. And third, and this one is a big one, just completely ignoring security and compliance from day one. Getting these right is absolutely foundational.
All right, so let's say you've navigated those first few hurdles. You're in the cloud, things are running. But now a new danger starts to creep in. It's subtle, but it's dangerous. It's called the vendor trap. And this is where you can start to lose your freedom, your flexibility, and ultimately, your control.
So what is vendor lock-in, really? Well, imagine this. You get so tangled up in one cloud provider's special tools and services that leaving them becomes incredibly painful and expensive. You're basically stuck. You can't negotiate for better prices, you can't jump to a better technology that comes along, you're trapped.
But here's the good news. You can totally plan for this. The key is to design for freedom from the start. That means using open standards and APIs so your systems can talk to anyone's systems, not just one company's. A multi-cloud approach is a really powerful move. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And crucially, build your apps and manage your data in a way that makes them portable. You should be thinking about your exit strategy before you even sign the contract.
Okay, so as your cloud setup gets bigger and bigger, two new monsters show up at your door: complexity and cost. They can get out of hand, fast. But don't worry, you've got two powerful allies in this fight. Let's introduce them.
First up, to fight that monster of complexity, you need to think beyond just monitoring. See, monitoring tells you what went wrong. It's like the check engine light in your car turning on. Helpful, but not the whole story. Observability, that's your ally. It's like having the full diagnostic tool that tells you why the light came on. It connects all the dots in your super complex system so you can find the root cause, not just the symptom.
All right, so once you can actually see why things are happening, you've started to get a handle on the complexity. But that leads us right to the other monster lurking in the corner. How do you stop your cloud bill from just exploding?
You do that with your second ally, FinOps. Now, FinOps isn't some piece of software you buy. It's a whole cultural practice. It's about getting your tech teams, your finance people, and your business leaders all in the same room, speaking the same language. It's about treating cloud spending like any other critical business metric and making everyone accountable for the money they're spending.
And trust me, this matters a lot. Because get this, a Flexera report found that a shocking 49%, almost half, of organizations don't have anyone whose specific job it is to manage and optimize cloud costs. That's like running a factory and just
never checking the electricity meter. FinOps is what puts someone in charge of that meter.
So how does this FinOps thing actually work? Well, it's built on three main pillars. First, you have to know who's spending what. That's cost allocation. Second, you watch how everything is being used so you can spot waste. And third, you're constantly fine-tuning and optimizing, making sure you're only paying for exactly what you need. It's a continuous cycle.
So, we've covered technology, we've covered strategy, we've covered money. But the final hurdle, and honestly, it's often the toughest one, has nothing to do with code or servers at all. It's all about people. And this people transformation is every bit as important as the technical one. I mean, listen to this quote from Oracle. They basically admit it. Many transformations fail because of employee resistance to change. It's such a hard truth. Tech projects rarely fail because the tech itself is bad. They fail because of people, because of resistance to doing things in a new way. You just can't afford to ignore the human side of this.
But it's not just about resistance. The people problem has two sides. There's also a massive skills challenge. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if you don't have people with the right skills to actually build and run this new cloud-native business, you're going nowhere.
And the numbers here, well, they paint a pretty stark picture. In India, only around 4.7% of the entire workforce has any kind of formal skilled training. Now compare that to a country like Germany, where it's 75%. That gap, that's a huge hurdle for any company trying to hire people for these advanced cloud jobs.
And this leads to a really frustrating paradox. On one hand, India has millions of new graduates every single year. But on the other, the industry itself says that maybe only half of them are actually employable, meaning they have the practical modern skills to hit the ground running in a high-tech job.
So let's pull this all together. What does a successful cloud journey actually look like? It's not a project with a start and end date. It's a continuous transformation. It means seeing this as a business revolution, not just an IT upgrade. It means you have to strategically manage your vendors, your costs, and all that complexity. And maybe most important of all, it means you have to invest in your people through training, support, and great change management.
So that leaves us with one final big question. Look, anybody can start a cloud migration. That's the easy part. But to actually pull off a successful cloud transformation, that's the real challenge. So now that you've seen all the hurdles, all the traps, the real question is your business ready for the real cloud journey?